of my favorite BLs, Devil's Flaw, Angel's Sin. And I just want to remind everyone that this is a dark romance novel. It's not just an angst. And especially in this chapter, we have Vegas, who is still very much cruel, delusional, and he is very hell-bent on conditioning Pete to be more obedient. But nonetheless, let's get into it. And we're going to start off with Vegas's point of view. I licked my lips, tasting the metallic on my tongue. The feral kitty might be small, but his bite was painful. I thought my tongue was going to fall off from his sharp fang. I used my thumb to wipe the blood from my chin, staring at the crimson color. It's been a while since someone made me bleed. The last person who made me bleed is dead. My gaze falls on Pete, who's still on the floor. He flinched back at my cold stare. I put up a hand indicating for my men to back off without saying a word. They put their guns down and back away. I get up from the chair, keeping my gaze on Pete. I didn't mean to, Pete shouts, scooting away slowly as I step closer. I believe him. He was too into that kiss to suddenly rebel like that. A kiss that still lingers on my lips. It was probably just a reflex reaction to me touching his jewel. But whatever the reason, the little feline must be taught a lesson so he learns to never rebel or do anything displeasing against me. Before Pete can back away any further, I catch up to him. I bend down and grab him by the hair, pulling his head back harshly. He cries out in pain as his hands grip my wrist, trying to pry my grasp on him away. Since you don't want to eat, then you can starve. And since you like playing rough, I'll do the same. With those words, I start dragging him by the hair out of the dining room. Let me go! It hurt! Pete screams, clawing at my arms. He struggles against me, but that only made me drag him harder. You're only going to hurt yourself more fighting, I warned him. I'm no nice guy, and I've told him that. Being nice gets you nowhere in life. Vegas, it was an honest mistake, he cries out, calling my name for the first time. I never told him my name and realized that those two bodyguards had shouted it. I stopped moving and looked down at Pete. He looked up at me with tears in his eyes. Please let me go. I'm sorry. His tears slipped past his eyes as he begs me. I bend down to Pete, gripping his chin with my other hand and smirk in his face. Tears don't work on me. If you want me to forgive you, you can start by kissing my jewel. He gasps, his hands on my arm loosening. Bastard. I laugh loudly and get back up. Then I immediately cut my laughter and start dragging him again, emitting another painful cry from his throat. He'll learn eventually, and if he doesn't, I'll do him anyway, then dispose of him. I drag Pete until we get to a little storage room. Opening the door, I shove him in there, finally letting him go. Although he was surrounded by nothing but darkness, he seemed relieved with the pressure gone from his head. He looked up at me with his teary eyes, both hatred and fear burning in his brown eyes. You can stay in here until you learn to obey. With those final words, I shut the door, locking it behind me. You, I called to a bodyguard nearby. Yes, sir, he says, running to me. Watch this door. Give him 1 cup of water a day only and a bucket to use. If he escapes, your head's going to be on a stick, I instructed. Understood, sir. He moves to stand by the door. I walked away, not saying another word. Boss, the East Gang is making a move. Arm informs me as we sit in a meeting with some of the closest men who works with me. The leader in the South is dying and have no heir. War is going to break out soon for territorial rights. We must make a move soon, before the East Gang takes over. I listen intently to Arm. We've been at a standstill war with the East for as long as I can remember. The last time blood was shed so much was during the fight for the West Territories, which I won. I now control the west and north of Thailand. Kim, my archenemy, controls the east and RT, the south. I've had a peace treaty with the south for a while now. But a peace treaty doesn't necessarily mean peace. It only means that we stay out of each other's territory. Now the old man is dying and he has no heirs. That means another war will break out soon. Knowing Kim, he'll do everything in his power to gain it. The South is a very profitable land, especially with tourists. If Kim gains the territories down there, he can easily take over Thailand, and I can't let that happen. That means leaving the mountainous terrains behind. Thinking of leaving reminds me of Pete. How long has it been since I locked him up? 3 days now? I haven't seen him since. I wonder if he's still alive. If I need to leave soon, that means I need to get my obsession with him out the way and fast. Boss, what should we do next? Lum, my best sniper, asked. I have an inside man in the East Gang. I can have him keep watch, but he won't be able to do much, else he risks being exposed. Otherwise, I can try hacking into their systems and dig up any information I find. Arm adds. I say we go in full force, guns blazing. Chan, my uncle through marriage, advises. He was always too hot-headed, choosing to fight first and think later. Or we can win over the South in a more peaceful way. Tankun, my cousin, said, walking into the room. Tankun, a man more humane than monster, unlike the rest of us. He was born into this kind of life, although he rather not have anything to do with it, so he usually tries to think of a more peaceful solution for everything. Although humane, he is deadly when needs be. He's also probably the only person in this world I can say I trust. You're late, Kun, I said, looking at him. Tankun smiles at me and sits down. My eyes fall on the file he holds in his hand. I'm late because I found something interesting that can help us gain the South without blood being shed. He tosses the file at me. What would someone like you know about solving anything? Chan says, berating his own son. Tankun rolls his eyes at his father and looks over to me. Rumor has it RT has a child, a secret child, one he's hid for over 20 years. And the child is a woman. There's birth certificate to prove it, Tankun says. That's ridiculous. Why would RT hide his own kid? Chan interjected. Why not? Look how cruel this world is. Only you would want your child raised in this mess, father. Tankun sneers. I will beat you. Shut it, I shouted, gaining everyone's attention. Even though Chan was an elder, I'm the real boss here. Everyone listens to me. Kun, if this is true, then we find his daughter and you can marry her. That way we get the land in the south and control over the gang without bloodshed. Tankun concluded. Marry? If it's true that RT does have a hidden child, then what Tankun says will be the most reasonable, less bloodshed way to gain control over the South. I never thought of marriages ever in this lifetime, but if that's what I must do, then so be it. I'll just whatever to after her father passes and I have control over everything. Also, if we know this little information, then that means Kim should be aware of it too. I must move fast. I turn to look at Tankun and smile. Well then, should we start planning my wedding? Pete's POV. I've lost track of how long I've been locked in here. It feels like forever. I'm weak, dirty, dehydrated, and hungry as hell. The bastard locked me in here and never returned, except for a visit once a day to receive a small cup of water from a man in suit. I haven't had any human contact. How can a human be so cruel? I never said anything wrong to him. Biting him was a mistake that I did on impulse when he touched me inappropriately. Still, he dragged me through the house just because of that and locked me up. If I decide to do something for real, he'd probably kill me. I stare weakly at the blank wall while I lay on my side of the cold, hard floor. Is this how I'm going to die? I think of my family and a weak cry leaves my lips. I'm so tired and dehydrated that even my eyes refuse to make tears anymore. Ma, help me, I choked out. I don't want to die. I wonder if my family is aware of my disappearance yet. They should be. Ever since I came up here, I've talked to my parents almost every night before bed. They should know something's wrong. They should have notified the authority already. Somebody's looking for me, I'm sure. Suddenly, the door opens and I expect it to be another water drop off, so I don't move. I was too weak to move anyways. I hear the footsteps enter and come closer before stopping before me, blocking my view of the wall. I see you're still alive. Vegas's voice sounded in the silent room. His voice alone made my skin crawl. I look up and curled into myself when I meet his eyes. He chuckles slightly at my actions. Are you ready to be a good little pet? He bends down and reaches a hand towards me, touching my hair. I move my hand away. Still have some fighting spirit left in you. I should leave you in here longer, but lucky for you, I don't have much time, so I need you out of here. He grabs me by the arm and pulls me up, making me groan softly. He doesn't care that I'm in this state and continues to pull me to my feet, but I stumble against them. You're even touching me on your own now, he chuckles. I try to push against him, but he instead lifts me up into his arm and starts walking out of the room. Put me down. I can walk. I don't think so. Vegas ignores me and carries me upstairs to the bedroom that he originally locked me in. Once in there, he takes me to the bathroom and sets me down on the sink counter. Wash yourself up, you smell. Of course I do. You're the one that locked me in that little closet. I wanted to scream at him, but held my tongue. And Pete, don't displease me again if you know what's best for you. Vegas walks out of the room after that, leaving me alone. As soon as he was gone, I turned on the sink faucet and desperately lapped at the water. I didn't even care if the water was poisonous. I needed it. After I have my fill, I weakly clean myself up. It took longer than normal, but I managed to take a shower and dry myself. I wrap myself in a towel after I'm done and stare at my clothing. They were dirty and reeked badly. While I was locked up, I didn't even have a proper toilet to use, but the bucket provided to me. Sighing, I look around to see if maybe there was a robe or something I can wear. Only then did I notice high in the corner was another camera with a red blinking light. The bastard. He even installed a damn camera in the bathroom. I immediately turn around, hiding my body, even though I had a towel wrapped around me. Was he watching me now? Although I was angry, I can feel my cheeks warming from embarrassment. I walked out of the bathroom as fast as I could and grabbed the blanket off the bed, wrapping it around me too. Just then, I hear the lock from the other side of the door before it opens. I feared it might be Vegas coming back, but instead it was the same maid from before that served us food. She looks at me, giving me a little quick bow before coming to the bed and setting down a set of clothing. Couldn't Vegas would like you to get dressed and join him for dinner in the dining room once you're done. She informs me. I'm not hungry. I lied. The bastard wanted to starve me before, so why feed me now? Plus, after finding out about the camera in the bathroom, I didn't want to see him. Ever. He will be waiting for you in the dining room, the maid said once more before exiting the door and closing it behind her. I take the clothing she left behind. It was a new set of clothing and a luxury brand too. Why would he spend money on expensive clothing for me? Or was this his own clothes? But it doesn't matter. Clothes were better than no clothes. I enter the closet and check to make sure there's no camera before I quickly put the outfit on. Once I'm dressed, instead of going down like Vegas requested, I fall onto the bed and just lay there. My body needed food and was weakened, but I wanted rest more. Sleeping on the hard floor for who knows how long made me sore all over. I'm well aware if I don't go down, Vegas will probably hurt me again. Just 5 minutes, I tell myself. I want to rest just 5 minutes before I have to deal with him again. Then I'll go down. Just as my eyes start to lazily close, the door bursts open, making me sit up from the bed. My eyes widen as a very angry Vegas walks in, dragging the maid with him, followed by the same man in suit that's been bringing me water. He throws the maid to the floor as she cries out in pain. Vegas! I breathe his name. My fear starts to rise again. I warned you not to displease me, yet you don't want to listen, he said in a threatening tone. Now Cindy here will pay for not doing her job correctly. I look at the maid and her terrified face, but I looked at the maid and I saw her terrified face, but she doesn't say anything or move. She just sits there on her knees where Vegas threw her. Punish her. Vegas orders, bringing my attention back to him. He steps back as the other man takes his place. Only then do I see the belt in the man's hand. They're going to whip her. Vegas, I was going to come down, I say, shifting off the bed. Right when I land on my feet, Cindy screams out in pain, making me freeze in place. The man raises the belt again, and I move, running over to him. Stop it! It's not her fault, I scream, grabbing the man's arm. Suddenly, I'm pulled back, and Vegas holds me tightly in his arm. He turns me around so I can see clearly as the man raised the belt again and connected it to the maid's back, making her cry once more. Stop! Vegas, let me go! I shout desperately. The man raises the belt again, and I turn away, not able to witness it. I end up burying my face in Vegas' chest. I hear the maid name, Cindy, cry again. I didn't get hit, but it felt like it was me who got struck. My body shook violently in Vegas's arm. Every time you defy me from now on, Pete, someone will get hurt in your stead, Vegas says, with no emotion, followed by another scream from Cindy. I'm sorry. Please tell him to stop, Vegas. It's all my fault. Punish me. I'll do anything you want. Just please stop. Please. I cry in his chest, my fingers gripping the front of his shirt tightly. Stop! Stop. I hear Vegas order. I move my head to look at the girl, but Vegas palms my face, stopping me. He tilts my head up to look at him. Take her to go get treatment, Vegas says, but looks at me. I hear the shuffling of feet, and then we're all alone. Remember what you said, Pete. Anything I want. My lips tremble, but I nod my head once. Yes. He finally smiles, any prior anger gone. Come on, our dinner's getting cold. He takes my arm in his, and a very strong grip he has, and I can only follow as he takes me out of the room. We ate dinner in silence. Although I was hungry, I didn't taste anything. I was still horrified about what happened and couldn't control my emotions, though I tried my best to not show it. A tear still fell here and there throughout dinner. Once we finished, Vegas takes me back upstairs to the room. Instead of leaving me alone, he follows me in, locking the door after us. My body shook as I stand there. I just know it's going to happen, but I can't fight it. Not if he's going to hurt someone else because of me. Vegas stares at me for a bit before stalking slowly towards me. He walks around me once, eyeing me like I'm meat, making the hair on my body rise. He stops behind me and grabs my waist, pulling me against him. You made me arrive earlier when I watched you shower. He breathes into my air, making me shiver. Now strip. I want to see your naked body again. Vegas, I whisper in a shaky breath. Are you taking back your words? He growls lowly in my ears. I quickly shake my head. I'm just scared. Vegas's hands snake up my body and stops at my neck. He tilts my head up to the side so I can see him. Don't worry, I'll be gentle. He bends down and locks his lips with mine, ending the conversation. And that's it for chapter 3 of Devil's Flaw, Angel's Sin. In this chapter, I think, in my opinion, that Vegas is obviously not considering the fact that the more he tries to force Pete to behave with him, trying to control his actions towards him, the more it'll obviously make Pete resist. But I feel like eventually, this is my speculation, eventually Pete will either give in to what Vegas wants in order to then in return manipulate Vegas into being a little more nicer to him, both for survival and to make his time easier at Vegas's house while he's being held captive. Nonetheless, it's still too early to pick up on what Vegas truly wants. Yes, he wants yes, Vegas wants Pete's obedience, but he obviously wants something more than that. Maybe he wants to just break him down for the fun of it. Who knows? But I'm totally looking forward to seeing what's next and what chapter 4 is going to be like. So, thanks for listening, and I would love if you guys would tell me or mind sharing with me what you think Vegas's motives for Pete was when he did what he did, especially using Cindy and the other employees in this house to force Pete to bend to Vegas's will. What do you think's going to happen with that, and what do you predict is going to happen next in chapter 4? Let me know.